Chef Buck here, and today we're gonna cook up Bok Choy. Bok Choy is a cabbage, you know, or it's a member of the cabbage family. Look how sad this one looks. It's looking a little tired. I bought this like, jeepers, 4 days ago. And I'm gonna make some soup with it, because that's what I like to do with the big cabbage. Bok Choy comes in a lot of different sizes. It comes itsy bitsy teeny tiny, medium size, and this is the big honkin' Bok Choy. Come and look at this here though, camera girl. First thing I'm gonna do is wash this thing though. See how dirty this is in here? And this is always, it seems like every time I buy Bok Choy, it's like that. It's really dirty. It's
like
a
celery.
dirty, it's a bad vegetable. It's a very dirty vegetable. So first thing I'm gonna do though is cut it, separate the leaves from the stalk. Just like this here, boom. Because we're gonna cook it in a soup, and the cooking time is gonna be a lot different from the top, from the bottom. And now I'm going to go ahead and wash it. So here's my Bok Choy bottoms, all washed up. I got like 90% of the dirt off of there. 90% is good for me. I can live with that. But you always want to wash your Bok Choy because it's always got a lot of dirt hidden up in it. So I'm going to go ahead and give these bottoms a slice. You know, I want to cut them into about 1/2-inch pieces. And this soup is going to have, you know, little pieces and big pieces in it. See that there looks dirty, but it's just stained. You know, or at least that's what I'll tell camera girl. It's very similar, really texturally, to a piece of celery. It's probably not as dense as celery.
Right. But it is watery.
Yeah, has a high water content. So that's good enough.
Those are man pieces.
That's alrighty. We want some nice chunks in this soup. Alrighty, so there's my Bok Choy bottoms all cut up. And these here are my tops that I've got washed. I'm going to go ahead and give these a chop. And we want to separate the tops from the bottoms because we're going to add these in almost when the dish is finished cooking. So we don't cook out all of the nutrition. And it doesn't take any time for these to cook. So we'll add these near the end of the dish. We got a pot over here that's big enough to cook soup in. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on medium high and start heating it up. I'm going to throw a little bit of oil in the bottom of it so we can saute some things here at the beginning of the dish. Boom. I'm going to start off with some ginger. Lots of ginger in this dish. Wow. You can see I got some of it chopped up fine and some of it in some bigger chunks because I like big chunks of ginger in this dish. So we'll go in there and start that sizzling. I'm going to throw in some chili peppers. I got these chopped up seeds and all. This is like 5 peppers. It's a lot, it's heat, but it's soup, you know?
Those are fresh, not dry, right?
Those are fresh, but you can use pickled, you can use dried, you can put in some chili powder if you want. You can put in some sriracha, is that how you say that? Sriracha? Sriracha or chili garlic paste or any kind of hot element that you want. Alrighty, I'm gonna put in some bell pepper, 1/2 a red sweet pepper. Why? Because it was in the fridge and I need to get rid of it. That's a good thing about soup, you know. Ultimately, in a soup, you can put in whatever the hell you want. You know, a soup is always a great way to clean out a fridge. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. I'm going to throw in, boom, an onion chopped up, thrown in there. This is like 7 cloves of garlic. This is enough garlic to give you, there's a muscle under that shirt. You'll have to trust me on that. And we got all of this stuff going in here. Sauteing away. I'm going to go ahead and throw in some seasonings. This is 1 tablespoon of coriander, 1 teaspoon of lemongrass powder, and 1 teaspoon of mango powder. So we'll go ahead and stir this up and let these flavors start to cook up a little bit. Now I'm going to add in a little bit of sweet potato. This is 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes. I got to cut up about 1/2 inch cubes, skinned them. Don't want no skin in my soup. I hate to take the skin off a potato, but for soup, sometimes it's just better to go skin-free. Now we're going to go ahead and throw in a can of coconut milk. This is just regular coconut milk. Don't use Camera Girl coconut milk. See, this says light coconut milk. You know, if it was up to me, light coconut milk goes down here in the garbage can. But she'll get mad if I do that. Real coconut milk. Alright, so get that stirred up. We'll just fill the can up with water. Boom. Throw that in there. And we'll turn it up on a high heat. Let this get bubbling a little bit, because what we want to do is we want to cook our potatoes, soften our potatoes up a little bit before we add in our bok choy. Alrighty, my pot's starting to bubble a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce the heat down to a simmer. I'm going to go ahead and cover it up, let it simmer away for about 5 minutes and get those potatoes start to soften up a little bit. Alrighty, so it's been a little over 5 minutes, about 6 minutes, and that's where we're at right now. Let me check the doneness of this here. Let's see. So our fork goes in there. It's not too overdone. You don't want it to be, you don't want to leave it going for too long, because it's still got to cook a little bit more with some other ingredients. It's hot, but it's soft enough to eat, but it's still got it's not mushy. You don't want to cook it for too long. So at this point, boom, we're going to throw in our bok choy bottoms. Alrighty. And it looks like I can use a little bit more water. Go with another can, you know, to bring the water up to the top so that it'll cook. But you don't want to throw too much water in here, because the bok choy is chock full of water. You know, and I like this soup, I like it to be nice and thick and hearty. You know, I don't want it to be super duper watery. I want it to have a lot of oomph. You know, I want it to be a nice rustic filling dish, but it's going to be thin. It's not a creamy soup. You know, even with the coconut, that's a nice coconut flavor, but it's not going to be a thick, creamy soup. So I don't want it to be too watery. So be careful putting water in. Just have enough to cover up your ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook for another couple of minutes with the bok choy bottoms in there, and then it'll almost be done. Alrighty, so it's been a couple more minutes. You know, once it started simmering again, I let it go for 2 more minutes. So now we're going to throw in, boom, the bok choy tops. Get that mixed up. Let's throw a little bit of salt in here. Is that too much? Maybe too much. I'm trying to go a little lighter on the salt, you know. Trying to be a responsible middle-aged man. A little bit of black pepper. Yeah, we like it nice and chunky and lumpy. So if you want it thinner, you can add a little bit more water to it if you like. But you know, we like it to be nice and hearty. So this is good enough for us. And boom, I'm gonna finish it off with a little fresh chopped basil. Throw that in there. It's probably about a 1/2 cup, maybe. And then that's it. You know, I'm not going to cook it anymore, because the bok choy leaves, I mean, this pot's already hot enough. You know, the potatoes are cooked. You know, the bok choy, even the bottoms, you can eat them raw. So, you know, once they've been cooking for a couple of minutes in here, that's plenty enough time. So I'm going to go ahead and get it off the heat. Cover it up, it'll be ready to eat whenever we're ready to eat. Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and ladle some of this up and give it a try. Now see, doesn't that look a lot wetter than you were thinking it was gonna be? That's why you gotta be careful with the water, you know? You don't want to get it too liquidy. I'm gonna burn the hell out of my mouth on this bite. This has only been sitting for about 10 minutes. I think if it was cooked any more, you know, I don't like the potato falling apart, you know, in my soup. Not in this soup. You know, like some soups, when you put a potato in it, you know, you want to go ahead and throw your thunder stick or whatever the hell in there and mash it up and make it creamier because of the potato. But with this soup, you know, with the sweet potato, I don't like that. You know, it's got a little bit of heat, but it's not overly hot. You know, even though I put 5 fresh chilies in here, you know, put whatever heat you like. But because of the coconut milk, you know, that helps to balance it out. So, you know, if you like a little heat, you know, you're going to want to go heavy on the heat. Plus with the potato and the bok choy and all that jazz, you know, it's a lot of super duper not flavorful stuff. You know, not overpoweringly flavorful stuff. So don't be afraid to go a little heavy on the spices. You know. But it's good, boy. Alright, so there you have it. A little bok choy soup. You know, go ahead and give this recipe a try. Let me know what you think, and bon appetit.